Hello members, the 45th Annual General Meeting of the Manchester Cooperative Credit Union 1977 Limited will be held in a hybrid format. To ensure that the AGM is held in compliance with regulations and changes brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, you or members will be asked to vote on a number of special resolutions. I will now present to you a summary of the proposed changes to be approved by you. Whereas Section 11 and Regulation 41 of the Cooperative Societies Act and regulations provide for the amendment of rules. Whereas Article 22, Rule 78, allows for the amendments in the rules of the Manchester Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Whereas Article 2, Rule 4, Article 4, Rule 19, Article 5, Rule 20, Article 6, Rule 22, Article 8, Rule 37, Article 9, Rule 41(1), Article 9, Rule 44, Article 9, Rule 47, Article 10, Rule 49(1), Article 10, Rule 51, Article 11, Rule 53, Article 11, Rule 54, Article 11, Rule 57, Article 11, Rule 58, and Article 12, Rule 62, are being proposed for amendments in the rules of the Manchester Cooperative Credit Union 1977 Limited. Whereas it is being proposed that meeting of members may be conducted by attendance at a physical location or by a virtual only or by hybrid meeting. Whereas electronic attendance shall be construed as if the members were present at the physical location where the meeting is being convened. Whereas members attending meetings through electronic media shall constitute the constitution of the quorum requirement for a legally convened meeting of members of the society. Whereas the Cooperative Societies Amendment Regulations 2021 dealing with the holding of general meetings in cooperative societies were promulgated on the 15th of January 2021, whereas this credit union has agreed to adopt and accept all the interpretations so ascribed under the said regulations and intends that the amendments hereunder proposed are to be operational immediately and binding upon members consequent upon approval of this general meeting of members and subject to the Registrar of Cooperative Societies' immediate certification. Article 2, Rule 4 is being amended with the addition of the following sub-rules at F. A registered society under the Cooperative Societies Act and any amendments therein. G. Any person directly employed or had been employed in the public service, government, statutory bodies, executive agencies, or affiliates. H. Relatives of members listed in G above. And I. Members and persons eligible to become members of credit unions that have been merged with the Manchester Cooperative Credit Union 1977 Limited. Article 4, Rule 19, being amended to read as follows. 1. The Board of Directors may establish rules and conditions under which a member may deposit money in the credit union. A member may deposit money in sums of not less than $1,000. 2. Deposits may be withdrawn or by check or in cash or by direct transfer to another credit union or commercial bank as authorized by the Bank of Jamaica on any day that the credit union is open for business, but the Board of Directors may at any time require the depositor to give up to 30 days notice of his intention to withdraw the whole or any part of his deposits. All other sections of this rule will remain the same. Article 5, Rule 20, being amended to read as follows. 21. Money paid in or out of an account of shares, deposits, loans, interest, entrance or transfer fees or other savings shall be evidenced by an appropriate voucher or receipt or by entries in a member's passbook or by an electronic statement generated from the member's account. Each voucher or receipt or entry in the passbook or electronic statement shall identify the persons receiving or paying out on behalf of the credit union. The money represented thereby, when passbooks or electronic statements are used, the member's permanent official record for all transactions shall be the entries in the passbook or on the electronic statements when a statement of account plan is used. The member's permanent official record for transactions shall be the statement of account, which will itemize all transactions and which must be issued to each member at least quarterly. All other sections will remain intact. Article 8, Rule 37, being amended to read as follows: the board may employ a general manager and may authorize him under the direction of the treasurer to perform any of the duties devolving in the treasurer. Article 6, Rule 22, being amended to read as follows: all applications for loans shall be on the prescribed form or any prescribed format determined by the credit union, and shall set forth the purpose for which the loan is desired, the security, if any, and any other information as the credit committee may require. If the facts stated in the application are found to be misrepresented, or the money used for some other purpose than that which it was borrowed, the loan shall become immediately due and payable. Article 9, Rule 41.1, being amended to read as follows: the credit committee shall be elected at the annual general meeting of the credit union and shall consist of not less than 3 and no more than 9 members, all of whom shall be members of the credit union. Each member shall hold office until his successor is elected and shall be eligible for re-election. Article 9, Rule 44 now reads: the credit committee shall hold such meetings as the business of the credit union may require, and not less frequently than once per month. Due notice of such meetings shall be given to the other members of the committee by the secretary. Any meeting of the credit committee may be held by electronic communication system, including telephone conference or video conferencing technology and any other similar mechanisms as under Rule 53.3, and the chairman or a majority of the committee members must consent to the meeting being held virtually through an electronic system. The system so employed must provide access to the meeting in a manner by which each person attending can be properly identified and participate fully. The system must facilitate the viewing of documents and the recording of any vote or other actions taken at the meeting. For the purpose of determining the quorum and for all other voting purposes, attendance at such meetings shall constitute presence in person at the virtual only, hybrid, or in-person meeting. Article 9 being amended to read as follows: the credit committee shall send a report of its activities to the board of directors within 15 days from the end of each preceding month, and shall, at the invitation of the board of directors, attend board meetings as required from time to time. Article 10, Rule 49.1 now reads as follows: the supervisory committee shall consist of not less than 3 and no more than 9 members, none of whom shall be members of the board of directors or credit committee or loan officer or an employee, and all of whom shall be members of the credit union. Article 11 now reads as follows: the supreme authority of the credit union is vested in the general meeting of members at which every member has a right to attend and vote on all questions. The first general meeting of members after registration of the credit union shall be called the first annual general meeting and shall have the same powers as are herein given to the annual general meeting. Reference to a meeting shall mean a meeting convened and held in a physical location only or via virtual only and or in a hybrid manner through a combination of both a physical and electronic system. Members shall be deemed to be present at that meeting for all purposes of the rules, the applicable laws, and the Cooperative Societies Amendment Regulations 2021, and said attendance shall be construed to allow the member present in any of these fora to attend and fully in any such meetings. A member participation in the business of a general meeting shall include without limitation the right to communicate, to vote, and to have access in hard copy or electronic form all documents which are required to participate in the business of a general meeting, and participation in such a meeting shall constitute presence in person at such meeting and shall count towards the quorum all other voting processes. References to electronic facilities shall include without limitation webcast, video, or any form of conference call system, telephone, video, web, or otherwise, and other communication of any sound document and other data. If a separate meeting place is linked to the main place of a general meeting by an electronic communication system, such a member present at the separate meeting place shall be taken to be present at the general meeting and entitled to exercise all rights as if the member was present at the main physical location. All general meeting, including a special or annual general meeting, any adjourned meeting or postponed meeting, may be held as a physical only, virtual only, or hybrid meeting. A virtual only or hybrid meeting may be held in Jamaica and any part of the world and at one or more locations as may be determined by the Board of Directors in its absolute discretion. However, the principal place and time of such meeting shall be construed to be held in the jurisdiction of Jamaica. Votes, whether by a show of hands or by a way of poll, may be cast by such means, electronic or otherwise, in keeping with the Cooperative Societies Amendment Regulations 2021. If voting is to take place at the meeting, there must be reasonable measures in place to verify that every person voting at the meeting by means of electronic communication system is sufficiently identified, and the Secretary shall keep record of any vote or action taken. The failure or inability of a member to attend or remain in an annual or special general meeting held in a hybrid or virtual-only meeting as a result of a mistake or events beyond the control of Manchester Cooperative Credit Union 1977 Limited shall not constitute a defect in the calling of the annual or special meeting and shall not invalidate any resolutions passed or proceedings taken at that annual general meeting. The provisions of these rules shall apply with any necessary modification to hybrid meeting and virtual-only meeting. Article 11, Rule 57 now reads, at least 7 days before the date of any annual or special general meeting, the Secretary shall issue a written notice of the meeting to be delivered by electronic means and printed in one daily newspaper. Where an annual or special general meeting is either virtual only or hybrid meeting, the Secretary shall cause the notice of the meeting to provide instructions for attendance and participation, including voting by members electronically and electronic link for attendees. Article 11, Rule 58 now reads with the addition of Sub-Rule 3 at Rule 58. Where the meeting is held as a hybrid meeting or virtual-only meeting, and during the meeting, a number of members participating virtually cease to be able to participate in the meeting at any time and for any period during the meeting, in such numbers that the quorum requirement for that meeting is not met, all business transacted at that meeting, including matters put to the vote and any resolutions passed, shall be void. Article 22, Rule 78 now reads, these rules may be amended by a resolution of the members at the annual general meeting or special general meeting called in accordance with Article 11, Rule 53(7). For the purpose by at least 3/4 of those members present, either physically, virtual only, or at a hybrid meeting, provided that a written notice of the meeting has been sent to each member by electronic means and printed in one daily newspaper, at least 7 days before the said meeting. No amendment shall become operative until it has been approved by the Registrar in accordance with the Act. Article 12, Rule 62 now reads, Nominating Committee. A nominating committee shall be appointed by the Board of Directors at least 120 days prior to the annual general meeting and shall consist of 3 members, one of whom will be a board member not seeking election, who shall be the chairman of the committee. The nominating process. Not less than 90 days prior to the annual general meeting, AGM, the nominating committee shall meet to consider the following. 1. The vacancies that will arise at the AGM on the Board of Directors, the Credit Committee, and the Supervisory Committee. A preliminary list of nominations to be made to fill such vacancies. All other matters and procedures required to fill such vacancies. Not less than 80 days prior to the AGM, the nominating committee shall in writing, 1. Notify the membership of vacancies for the Board of Directors, Credit, and Supervisory Committees. 2. Invite nominations from the membership to be made for each vacancy by petition in the prescribed form, signed by at least 5 members, each of whom shall be a member in good standing with the Society. 3. Notify the membership of the closing date for receiving nominations by petition. In all cases, the period for receiving nominations shall extend to at least 40 days from the date of written notification by the nominating committee. The written notice from the nominating committee to the membership shall indicate that there shall be no nominations from the floor. The written notice from the nominating committee to the membership shall also be prominently displayed at the place of business and, if more than one, the places of business of the credit union, and may be posted on the credit union's website or other electronic media and in the newspaper. Upon consideration of all nominations made and received by petition, the nominating committee shall review and recommend at least one member for each vacancy. The nominating committee shall report its recommended nominations to the secretary of the credit committee at least 40 days before the AGM. Each nominee by petition shall submit to the nominating committee 1. A petition duly completed with the signatures of 5 members. 2. A brief statement of the qualifications and experiences in a resume or another form approved by the board of directors. 3. A completed fit and proper questionnaire in a form determined by the board of directors. 4. A signed letter from the nominee stating that he or she is agreeable to the nomination and will serve if elected to office. The nominating committee shall have the authority to include candidates not nominated by members' petition among those to be considered by the committee, and of its own accord submit by way of petition in like manner suitable candidates to fill the vacancies on the various committees. Members of the nominating committee shall not be eligible for nominations. The nominating committee shall act in accordance with the rules and the nominating committee policy of the credit union in its selection of each nominee. A member seeking nomination to hold office shall be disqualified if that member 1. Fails to satisfy the nominating committee that he or she is a fit and proper person to accept the responsibilities and perform governance functions of the credit union. 2. Is delinquent in their loan or other obligations with the society at the date of the petition for vacancy and up to the date of election. 3. Has been a member of the credit union less than 6 months before the date of the petition, save where the member is an active member for more than 6 months in another cooperative society in Jamaica. 4. Whose membership in any other cooperative society at the time of the nominating committee deliberations has been judged delinquent. And 5. Is not ordinarily resident in the island. Where a volunteer's term has not expired and he is seeking nomination or election to a committee other than the committee he currently serves on, he or she shall tender his resignation from that committee and will be required to be nominated and elected to the office in which he or she is seeking to serve. The nominating committee will no longer than 30 days prior to the AGM notify the members in writing of the nominations recommended by them. The notice shall also be posted in a conspicuous place at each business office or offices of the credit union. After the nominating committee has notified the members of its recommended nominees, the nominees shall be presented and placed before the members at the AGM by the nominating committee to be considered by the members present. Elections. Elections shall be in the following order. 1. Elections for members of the board of directors. 2. Elections for the members of the credit committee. 3. Elections for members of the supervisory committee. 4. Nominations for representatives registered society under Rule 55(2)(d). 5. Election of delegates and alternate delegates to the League or any affiliated organizations as determined by the Board of Directors. After the nominees of the nominating committees have been placed before the members, a returning officer shall be appointed by the chairman and will preside over the elections at the annual general meeting. If the nominees equal the number of vacancies, the nominees shall be declared elected by general consent or acclamation of the membership at the annual general meeting. In the event there are more nominations recommended by the nominating committee than the number of vacancies available, there shall be voting by ballot. The returning officer shall be responsible for appointing poll clerks, distributing ballots, conducting and tallying the votes, and other action to ensure a valid, efficient, and smooth election, and thereafter announcing the results. In the event a vacancy arises between the close of nomination and the AGM, or if there are insufficient nominees to fill all vacancies, the Board of Directors shall appoint a member to fill such vacancy until the next AGM in accordance with the rules of the credit union. Finally, Article 11, Rule 51 now reads, the Supervisory Committee shall A. At frequent intervals, inspect the securities, cash, and accounts of the credit union. B. Make an examination of the affairs of the credit union at least half yearly, including an audit of its books of accounts. C. By unanimous vote, if deems such action necessary to the proper conduct of the credit union, suspend any officer, member of the board of directors or credit committee, and within 14 days thereafter call a special general meeting of the members to take such action relative to the suspension as the members may determine. D. Receive and investigate any complaint made by any member affecting the proper running of the credit union. E. By a majority of its members, call a special general meeting of the members to consider any violation of these rules or any practice of the credit union which, in the opinion of the committee, is unsafe and unauthorized. F. At least once a year, cause the passbook and accounts of the members to be verified with the records of the treasurer. The committee shall maintain a record of such verification. In the process of its examination and audit, the committee shall examine all applications for loans made during the period under examination and satisfying itself that for each loan made, an application is on file and that each application states the purpose for which the loan is made, the description of the security, if any offered, and that it bears the approval of the credit committee or a loan officer. And finally, within 30 days of the end of the half year, the treasurer shall submit for attestation by at least 2 members of the supervisory committee the statement for that half year if he is required under Rule 35(6)(e) to prepare it. Members will be asked to vote on these resolutions at the start of the AGM. Manchester Cooperative Credit Union 1977 Limited, where service exceeds your expectations.